What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 135 of Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today, a huge double header. We are going to be continuing on with our pursuit of a Premier League title, and well, we are going to be kicking off the Champions League knockout stages today. So a couple of huge games, Chelsea and Celtic, and then tomorrow we're going to do the EFL Cup final on its own. We're going to go all the way through the history of Town or Town Cup final bottles. We're going to lead it up to that game with a little bit of an unusual pre-match bit, but today we have two pretty big games in their own right to focus on away from the cup final, which I'll be honest, I'm panicking about now, but I feel like I need to just take it one game at a time. There's so many big games in quick succession. We need to take it easy. And well, since you were last here, we have only played 4 matches, and for the most part, the results have gone pretty well. We started off by dispatching of Middlesbrough in the EFL Cup semi-final second leg, which you already know because we've just talked about the final against Arsenal. But in this game, a good little performance. We were 2-0 up after the first leg, and well, Shvetsov's early penalty put us 3-0 up on aggregate. I relaxed, we conceded, but it was not the end of the day. Andre grabbed a second for us. We won on the night 2-1, not the most convincing of performances, but a win's a win, and with this we are into the final. Unfortunately, West Brom, who were playing against Arsenal, who won the first leg, they couldn't win. So Arsenal, the team we will meet in the final there, I'm scared. We've not done very well in recent cup finals in recent memory, have we now? Anyway, the good news is, in terms of league form, we've, for the most part, been back on the straight and narrow. There's one result here which isn't so good, but we started things off with 2 good little away results. The first of these was against Fulham. Aurelio with a lovely goal. I mean, he's just scored lots of lovely goals this year, has Aurelio. I can't really tell you what's different this year compared to last year. He's just become, I don't know, he's become a whole new beast. Also in this game, we grabbed 2 more goals before half-time. The first of these via Dylan Turnbull, and then Andy Eric getting a goal. A hint of offside. The assistant's flag was not raised though, and a good clean sheet away from home. You love to see it. And we got another clean sheet against Birmingham. In this game though, the 2 goals came in the second half, and at half-time at 0-0, I was getting shouty. We should be beating Birmingham easily. The good news is that we turned it on in the second half. Leskinen with the first, and then Rote with a unusual goal for him at left-back, channeling his inner Mateus Aurelio in many ways. Grabbed us a goal to make sure of the result, a hammer blow of a finish. And well, we gave a hammer blow of a finish against Birmingham. Sheffield United, they hammered us 3-1. Yeah, we lost another game. We're losing too many games like this, unfortunately. Genuinely, I don't know how we lost this 3-1. You can see the stats in the bottom left. It was a close game at points, but ultimately we dominated the game from start to finish. Sheffield just took the chances that came their way. And fair play to Sheffield United. At the end of the day, if you score 3 goals, you probably deserve to win. And having not conceded in our previous 4 league games, we were looking very good at the back. Yeah, we maybe need to rethink things. The only silver lining, really, the fact that Stevie Norman for us scored in the 50th minute. You thought for a second maybe it would spark a comeback. Spoilers, it didn't. So, unfortunately, with that result there is even more pressure on us for today's game against Chelsea. The first of 2 games coming your way today. If we just look at the league title, it looks like at this point it's a 3-horse race. Manchester City, 3 points ahead of us. We're sat on 62 points. And then 2 points behind us are Chelsea. Now, you can see here we've all played the same number of games, so there's not a great deal separating us. But, of course, if we were to slip up in this first game against Chelsea, we will be in some trouble. There's no getting around it. We'll be in a little bit of a pickle, as the kids say. The kids don't say that. That's an old person saying. Anyway, transfer window was still open when we left you last time out, and we did make some late dealings. We sold a few youngsters who I feel like aren't really going to develop, but teams wanted them for some good money. So we got for Brannigan here, £1.5 million. I feel like we've scammed Newcastle United, but I'll let you make up your own judgment. And another player who I don't really have high hopes for, and so I've been quite willing to sell him, was Wint. And he has gone off to Burnley. Unfortunately for him, it is Burnley, but £2.8 million we've received, and with both of these deals, we get 50% of any future sale. So we've got our asses covered a little bit. In terms of transfers in, we did make a couple of late dealings. Yes, I know, unusual for us. We needed a replacement for Palazzolo. In the end, I've gone with Bubalo, who has a not dissimilar name. He is a Croatian international, 19 years old, and he has only just turned 19. He's not got the craziest physicals, although they are pretty well-rounded. But his mentals are good, his technicals are very good, lots of potential as well. There were some big teams sniffing around for him. At £22 million for a backup striker, you could argue we've paid a lot. I would argue we just sold our fourth-choice striker for £52 million. I could afford to overspend a little. I think he's a pretty good player on the whole. Great flair, not bad vision and passing either. Could even double up as an advanced playmaker. We'll monitor his development, I suppose, although the immediate concern is getting him that little bit quicker. And another player we've picked up is a player who I've had my eye on a while. It's Hater Luiz. And we signed him from Chapecoense. I think that's how you pronounce the team's name. And he's a good little player at 18 years old. Have I overpaid at 12 million? Perhaps. But I have had my eye on this guy for a while. My scouts have rated him very, very highly for a number of years. The big turning off point, I suppose, was the fact that he had a release clause of £20 million, which I wasn't willing to pay. However, on deadline day, I got a news item through telling me that Benfica had a £12 million bid accepted. So we swooped in, we made a £12 million bid, and he decided that he wanted to come to the sunny shores of Taulor over the sunny shores of Portugal. And maybe he needs to have his head examined, but we're not going to question it. Maybe in 15 years' time, Taulor can compete with Portuguese beach resorts. I would like to believe. I mean, maybe it can compete now. What am I saying? What am I saying about Taulor? I mean, global warming could kick in. It could be like a tropical paradise, couldn't it? Either way, he's joined us. He's quite good. Doesn't have a work permit, though, which is a bit of a problem. I'll tell you what, though. You might be thinking, work permits, problems. That reminds me of someone. Doesn't remind me of anyone. Cancina's got a work permit, folks. Unfortunately, I didn't put a recall clause in his contract because, I'll be honest, I didn't think he was going to get a work permit this year. I did not really anticipate him to get called up to the Argentine squad and do so well and average a 7.5 rating in the league playing regularly for Juventus. That was not my anticipation when we loaned him out, but we're not going to complain. He's got a work permit. When he joined us in the summer, we might have some dilemmas to face. People have asked, where do I see him fit him in the team? I think he will probably end up playing as a striker, which, well, with a few of our other striking additions, we have potentially got 5 incredible striking options up top next year. We might need to loan someone out or sell someone on. We'll wait and see. It's a young lineup. We don't need to be forced into anything. Anyway, after months of having just loads of injuries, the great news today is everyone is fit, which I absolutely love. Unfortunately, the average ratings haven't been the best for certain players lately. Soretta as well. Soretta syndrome, that ability to develop. Maybe we need to think of a different name. Soretta's just been on a downwards decline in his training performances and his attributes as of late. I couldn't tell you why. It's just kind of happened. So we'll hope that he turns it around. Worth noting that Markovski, our alternative centre-back option, he is definitely not having the same issues. He is improving a hell of a lot. His heading is going up and up and up and up and up. He may well be our starter by the end of the year. But for now, at 20 years old, we can slowly bed him into the first team. It feels like a bit of a crazy game to throw him into the big stage here against Chelsea. But anyway, the team for our game is as follows here. It is the standard best 11, the team that you've come to know and love, and well, hopefully they're going to guide us through this first game here. We are taking on Chelsea. This is not going to be easy. I have also got a midweek game against Celtic in that first knockout round game of the Champions League to consider. Of course, it is only the first leg, so we would have a second leg to turn it around, but I'll be honest, I don't really want to be stuck in a position where we're having to turn it around. Now, Chelsea last year played very, very well. They won the Premier League, so that gives you an indication of how good they might be. They also won the Champions League. You would argue that they've perhaps underperformed this year. I have also realised we're playing the attacking shape. I actually want to change it. We're going to be sensible. We're going to play our counter-attacking system, which has served us pretty well this year, away from home against them. In truth, I feel like against many of the big teams, or the teams you would associate as being the big teams in England, the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, I'm happy to play on the front foot and I'm happy to play attacking. Against Chelsea and Manchester City, they're slightly different breeds of teams compared to those other teams I've just listed. They are a little more scary, so hitting them on the break still feels like the wise decision. And well, it could be wise here. Shvetsov breaking forward, tries to tuck it in. Vial for them pushes it wide, but a great one-on-one opportunity for us there. The first clear-cut chance of the game coming our way. Hitting them on the break, hopefully we'll get more chances like that, and hopefully Shvetsov can take them if they come his way. You do wonder if a gut chance like that after just 6 minutes, has it come a little too soon for him? Maybe he needs to get up to speeds a little. Anyway, Matasevic has picked up a booking, which is not ideal when we're playing a system and in a game where I anticipate we will have a little less of the ball. They are working the ball around nicely here. Bastos now with it. He's perhaps going to put it out to Owona, who scored 2 against us earlier on in the year. Morrigan on this occasion does make a nice little stop, though. And, 0-0 after 20 minutes. A big throw in. Shvetsov to Andy Eric, back with Rote. Whips it in. Turnbull was under it, but couldn't get his header away. And now it's with Daniel. Now, Daniel, I believe, won the Ballon d'Or a few years ago. He's not actually particularly good, but he wins the awards. So I can't really question it, but I feel like there's better players out there. But he's a Brazilian who we need to be wary of out on the right-hand side for them. They've got some pretty tasty players, have Chelsea. Anyway, Auger giving it back to Morrigan. We're working it out from the back here, tiring Chelsea out as they press and press and press. I mean, Auger and Morrigan, they've got their own little game going on at the moment. Now Serreta wants to get in on the action. Lovely build-up play, it's got to be said here. We are working this ball around really nicely. Shvetsov looked offside. I will not celebrate this if it goes in because I don't think it's going to count. Football Manager, you've caught me out one too many times. I know when it's offside. I know when you're wasting my time. It's a shame because it was such nice build-up play. Was he in line? Answers on a postcard. It was certainly very, very tight there, wasn't it, that offside decision? Unfortunately, on that occasion, he actually finished it expertly. Now, if only he could have done that with the chance when he was onside, we would be golden. Anyway, ball switched over to Fry. An England international can do magical things, and, well, there's the magic. There is the magic. That's unfortunate. Ryan Fry, if you can't remember, he's the left-back who's secretly a left-winger. He's very, very good, is the sad reality of it. And he's done a very tidy finish there with his right foot. Given he's a left-back, I'm going to assume he's left-footed, but you wouldn't have known it based off that, would you? I mean, I don't think anyone can really take the blame there. It's just a moment of brilliance, unfortunately. And having had some of the better chances in this game early on, we do now find ourselves a goal down. And while there's another highlight starting, a quick double for Chelsea would really knock the wind out of us. Di Giovanni with it. Andre, lovely tackle by him. Can he get the ball forward quickly now? He can. Shvetsov competing with it. Oh no, Turnbull, competing with it. Andy Eric to mop up the pieces. He goes on his own. Andy Eric, sorry. I've butchered the commentary there. That deserved a more epic commentary for such an epic goal. What a lovely goal that is. Some Shvetsov-like strength as well to shrug off one tackle. He picks up the ball here inside his own half. The defence, they back off, they give him pace. He hurdles one tackle, uses the strength, keeps his balance and sneaks it into the bottom corner. Keeper gets a hand to it, but it is not enough. And I feel like we kind of deserve that, you know. I don't want to say it too soon, but while Chelsea have had, slightly more shots, we are having more and more highlights going in our direction. We're having the better chances, is what I want to tell myself. Although, if we concede again now, that momentum that I was sensing building could vanish quite quickly as Daniel brings it down this right-hand side. Rote, though, lovely, lovely tackle by him. Lumps it forward to Shvetsov. We've got a 2-on-2 at the back. Shvetsov beats his man, cutting inside. Can he finish this one? No, he can't. Shvetsov, Andre, you've had 2 golden opportunities. And you've not taken either of them. And that's, I don't want to say it's a concern, but it does have me a little bit worried, my friend. Anyway, chance in the wide areas here. Owona to whip in a set piece for Chelsea. Back post it goes. Di Giovanni saved by Morrigan. Back wide to Di Giovanni. We are throwing men in front of it. Just get the ball out. What is happening? Leskinen. Well, he booted it against, I think it was Turnbull there. The relief there is probably quite evident in my voice as the assistant raises his flag. It was offside. A goal-mouth scramble. I was about to say, we've survived until half-time. That may not be the case, although Andre makes one tackle. Can you make another tackle, Andre? Go on, put a foot in, my friend. Moriba and Fry having their own little game. Now spread out wide to Daniel, who knocked it down to Bittner. And, well, a turn of pace from the German, and he opened up his body. And I'm not sure if that was a pass or a shot, but it was awful. Whichever one it was. It's 1-1 at the break. Would I take a 1-1? I almost feel like I would have to. Chelsea are so good right now. So, so good. Matasevic on a booking does scare me a little. You know what? I'm going to bring in McCassie. Now, McCassie isn't your typical Mazzala, and I am still training him as more of a centre-back option. If we just look at McCassie, as I mouse over Matasevic. But yeah, McCassie, he's very, very good with his physicals and mentals. He's not got a good heading for a centre-back, but I do like him as a more defensive centre-mid option. The kind of player who can come on and he will just, be a physical presence. He will be a pain in the butt. He's good at winning the ball and then getting it to more creative players further ahead of him. That's kind of what McCassie does. Anyway, big kick up. Andy Eric, as we should really call him. I mean, I thought that was in. I'm going to be honest, he's hit it wide. He won a header. I was not anticipating him to win a header. The little Brazilian, he's not really known for his aerial prowess. Anyway, Chelsea with a chance, though. Andre has been putting in tackle after tackle on Fry. I feel like Andre's taken the goal conceded quite personally. We are going to be called into some defensive action here, though, although Rote fails to put in a tackle. He just Rabona'd that. If they'd scored that, I would have been miffed. It was Rabona'd in. 20 minutes left. Shvetsov's not had a good game today. Norman, this is your moment, my friend. I'm just looking at the rest of the team, wondering if there's anywhere else I want to change things. And you know what? For now, I don't think there is. I think we'll get a little shouty. But it's 1-1 with just 20 minutes left. I feel like Norman coming on off the bench is just such a great pacey striker option to have, and he could have a good chance here. It's going to be a tough angle to score from. And the keeper makes a fine save. But that is why Norman is on the pitch. Fresh legs for the number 21. He will be very, very quick as we look to perhaps catch Chelsea out on the break, as they will commit more men forward. This is the kind of game that Chelsea fans will be expecting them to win. This is the kind of game that Chelsea will be expecting to win. I'm half expecting them to throw more and more men forward, and that might be when our best opportunities can come. But we do need to weather the storm at the back, and weather it we will for now, as Soretta gets it clear to Turnbull, who turns his man, and you can see we've got this 2-on-2 on the back. Turnbull burns past his man, could square it, could go on his own. Should have squared it, maybe. Oh, we've had so many great chances. 4 clear-cut chances, and they've been very similar opportunities. Chelsea playing with a high line, throwing a lot of men forward, and we've almost caught them out, but we're lacking that last little piece of quality at the end of the chances. Could still be an opportunity here as Andre sticks it up to the back post. McCassie, now with Norman, they're stumbling over one another. I have the feeling this is one of those pointless highlights, but the longer it goes on, the longer I was going to believe something could happen. I was wrong too. We do have a set piece though. Leskinen whips in. Bittner heads it away. Soretta, is it over the line? It is over the line. It's an awful goal. Oje is Naruto running. He did a swimming celebration. He's doing breaststroke. He doesn't really know how to celebrate the centre-back. He got so many goals for us last year, being in the right place at the right time. He has slowed down a little bit this year. I mean, I don't feel like I can really describe this goal. It's a bit of a mad scramble, and somehow it just falls to Jackie Oje. And he takes the chance, so I'm not going to complain one little bit. What a superb win this would be if we could hang on, but it is not done yet. 4 minutes of extra time. Let's kill a little bit of time, shall we? I'm going to take off Andre. We're going to bring in Volta. Use a sub in the last 4 minutes. Just waste a bit more time. It's trickling away. It's going away. We get a 2-1 win. What a huge result that is against Chelsea. To come back from behind is superb. Some great character shown. And I mean, the Oje Hater Club, they're in shambles right now. They are in shambles. He played very, very well there. We come back from behind to win. Andy Eric inspiring it. What an insane goal for Andy Eric's goal. He got goal of the year last year against Liverpool. It's another run from deep inside his own half that he's managed to kind of cap off with a finish. He's so good, isn't he? So good at 20 years old. I will say, he's not improved a great deal since he's joined the club, but he was already such a good player. He could stay like this for the rest of his days and he would still be an incredible option for us. Anyway, Man City played. Did they slip up? Did they draw? Did I miss that? They did draw. They drew 0-0 against Bournemouth. My word, that is a big game for us. I didn't even notice that result happening. I'd kind of given up any hope of a result there going our way. You can see Chelsea also Arsenal also drawing against Watford. That's kind of useful for us, although it doesn't matter a great deal. You can see they're over 20 points behind us with just 11 games left of the year. But yeah, City dropping points there isn't an insignificant result in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, you can see in terms of fixtures we've got coming up, they're coming up kind of thick and fast. Worth noting, Manchester City, second to last day of the season, could be quite big. But we've got smaller fish to fry right now, but they're more important fish. So let's get them on the hob. Let's get a frying pan going and let's get Celtic on the cooker, shall we? Let's beat them away from home. Not going to be easy. Champions League, first knockout round. Let's do this. Okay guys, so we are back here for this game against Celtic. We're off to Celtic Park. It's the first leg of the first knockout round of the Champions League. And I know that someone will ask if I don't check, how have Celtic been doing in the Scottish Premiership? And as you can see here, they've won it all but 1 year. It's worth noting, I don't have the Scottish League loaded, so very often when you don't have leagues loaded, it's oddly predictable. The game doesn't really seem to care about new teams coming up through the ranks. I think it does a lot of the simulations of the leagues off reputation more than anything. Either way, though, just have a quick look at Celtic. I'm not particularly scared, and that might seem a little bit naive. This apparently is their key player, and I look at him, he's good, but let's be honest, he's not particularly great, is it? I was quite surprised they made it through their Champions League group without sounding too harsh. They were in a group with Spartak Moscow, Lyon and Sporting, and if we just have a quick look at how it finished, they managed to get the second place spot with 11 points, which, to be fair to them, isn't actually that small or a total. But I do back us to win this game. It's worth noting it's not been many days since the previous fixture against against Chelsea. I have rested the players up a little bit, but we aren't at 100% fitness, so it's not ideal. In an ideal world going into this game, we get the job wrapped up early. I can slow down the tempo a little bit, maybe sub off a few key players, and we will be rested and ready to go for the Arsenal game, which is in only 4 days' time in the EFL Cup final. It's worth noting that Arsenal have also had to play in the knockout stages of the Champions League. However, they get an extra day's rest. They played on Tuesday, we play on Wednesday. That, to me, doesn't feel very fair, but, well, life isn't fair, as we know. And, well, hopefully Football Manager is going to be fair on us today, and hopefully our players are going to warm up kind of quickly. I am excited for this game. I am nervous for this game. Of course, last time we went into a European fixture and I was talking about how we're going to be comfortable favourites, we bottled it last year, didn't we? So hopefully that's not going to be the case, but apparently the players are bottled warming up. So we'll get to the game and I will join you guys there. Okay guys, so we are loaded in here at Celtic Park and their formation is odd. They are playing a narrow 4-2-3-1. A few players I recognise, the likes of Wagnerman, who is going to be playing at right back for them. He is 33 years old. I'm not particularly scared. I noticed also here they've got Tyler Addons, who, I mean, he's getting on a little bit, and that's kind of the case with a lot of these players with faces. They are going to be getting on a little bit. In fact, I think every single player who's a real player is going to be over the age of 30. And I'm now looking at Juan Miranda at left back, looking at that pace, thinking, Mateus Aurelio, you're going to have some fun today. Hopefully he will. This is not going to be easy, though. I don't want to underestimate them. We should learn from our mistakes. Hopefully we can get a few away goals. Hopefully we can keep a clean sheet. And running out comfortable victors, I think, is ultimately the aim here. I feel like with this first knockout round, we've been given, fortunately, quite an easy tie. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to Celtic fans, because I know that there'll be someone who gets annoyed. Just because I haven't got Scotland loaded, they don't have as good of a team as they might. And of all the teams that we could have possibly been drawn against, I do fancy ourselves against them. Anyway, Mateus Aurelio, a player who I've kind of earmarked to have a big game here, launching a throw in. It falls to Turnbull, who has 2 bites of the cherry. The second bite of the cherry hitting the woodwork and cleared away. But only as far as another throw in. Launched towards Shvetsov, cleared away Andy Eric to Andre. Mateus Aurelio cuts inside, has his effort blocked. Now back in the wide areas. He puts it into the mix to Shvetsov. Andy Eric shot block falls to Shvetsov very, very kindly. And well, if at first you don't succeed, try, and try again. We've had 13 shots in the first 17 minutes. This could turn into a rout. 27 goals for Shvetsov. 27. It's mid-February. What is this man on? What is he on? Insane goal. We will take that all the way to the bank and back. Let's keep it going, though. Let's keep this momentum going. I'm going to get shouty. Who cares if we're 1-0 up? No negative reactions. A few positive ones off the back of getting shouty. Celtic look riled, although I say that and then immediately they have a good little team talk. Things calm down a little bit. 36 minutes gone. It remains 1-0, but we've got a chance here. Rote bringing it down the left-hand side. Skips past Wagnerman. Crosses it inside. Mateus Aurelio's there. I mean, what do you say? What do you say to that? Who is he? Where was this man last year? Could he become one of the great fullbacks of footballing history? He's in his early 20s and he's just scored one of the most insane goals you will see in Football Manager. One touch, gets it barely out of his feet and he hits it on the bounce into the top corner. He's a defender and he can do that. Mateus Aurelio, take a bow. Take multiple bows. Take all the bows you want. Anyway, Leskinen. Could we get a third before half time? No, the keeper tipping it round the post. Shvetsov the man there in the 6-yard box. It fell to his feet. Celtic look like they are struggling with these corners. Leskinen to maybe have another chance to whip it in. Turnbull can't get to this one. Soretta back to Leskinen, who hits it. I think Turnbull stopped that going in. I don't know for certain. I think that cross could have ended up in the back of the net until it was headed over. Ultimately, however, it's 2-0, and one of those goals I feel like we will be seeing for many, many years to come. What an insane goal by Mateus Aurelio. Underwhelmed in his first year is probably an understatement for how poor he was, but this year he's been absolutely just nuts. Just give it to him again. He's over here somewhere. Find him, Leskinen. Where are you, Mateus? Have you got lost? Is that... Where are you, Mateus? Where is he? There he is. He's arriving late to the scene. Just expecting it to fall to him at every single moment. Anyway, he's won a game of hide and seek against me, and well, that looks offside. I'm not going to celebrate until it counts, and it does count. Okay, well, I take that back. I think the left back must have been playing him on. Andrei Tretsov, his second of the game there, just 3 minutes into the second half. I mean, it did just look miles offside, didn't it? Let's be honest, when you watch this, did you really think he was onside? I didn't. I should have done. Lovely finish as well. Keeper dives one way, he tucks at the other, just a little drop of the shoulder. If last game earlier on in this episode was kind of a grinded out result, how would you describe this one? This has just been one of those ones where we've just been the dominant team. We have been the better team throughout. And we are just simply put making it show. Although we need to defend Wagnerman. They've not had a shot on target yet. They only need one. They've taken that one that's come their way. It's come to Ivanusek. I'm not familiar with you. He is a Croatian player. He's 35 years old. I mean, that's a journeyman career and a half, isn't it? They paid 20 million for him. That feels like a lot. He's not a bad player, but I'm not sure he was ever a £20 million player. Maybe it's a little harsh to judge a player who's 35, kind of 3 or 4 years after he's joined the club. But just at first viewing, not impressed by the transfer business. Maybe I'm just salty because he scored against us. Anyway, we have been the better team in this game. Let's see if we can keep it going. I should probably make a sub or two, right? Andy Eric, you had a good game last time. Let's rest you. Let's bring in Volta. Turnbull's also tired a little bit. You know what? Let's give Bubalo his debut in a live com. I think he's already played one game for us on off the bench. We'll give him the best part of this second half. I should probably just hold on to my last sub just to be safe. But yeah, we'll take off Andy Eric. We'll take off Dylan Turnbull. They can rest their legs a little bit ahead of the final. We'll keep on Shvetsov. He's on for a hat-trick. His condition wasn't quite as bad as Andy Eric's. I mean, 3-1 would be good, but given how dominant this game has been, the fact that there is only a 2-goal margin in some ways is almost a disappointment. That might seem absolutely mad to say, but what a dominant display this has been. 48 shots. I mean, if they score now, it's going to be a bit annoying, isn't it? That is very fortunate as well. It's headed over. I mean, what do you say about that? 50 shots, 24 on target, 66% of possession. I mean, the fact is 3-1 is a miracle, really. You're not going to see many games more one-sided than that, even when you're playing against the most potato teams. Incredible. I mean, what do you say about Aurelio's goal? That was just insane. And he's quickly becoming, I think, a bit of a fan favourite. Not just for me, but for you guys as well. I feel like when you have a fullback who's kind of just performing extraordinarily, it's kind of worth praising and acknowledging. You can see here, Jarno Leskinen, legendary, allegedly. Our under-23s, by the way, won in the semi-finals of the... Is this what I think it is? It's the leasing trophy, the EFL trophy, as I think it's called. Or is it the EFL Cup? Either way, you can see in the other semi-final Millwall won. Does that mean that we're in the final of it? I think it does. I almost feel like we should attend the final of that game to watch our under-23s play. I wonder if we could bundle that up with tomorrow's episode against Arsenal. I guess it depends on when the final is. It's usually, I think, a little way away. But, I don't know, maybe it'd be interesting to look at the next generation of Towlaw players and see how they're doing. Let's have a quick look at our under-23s fixtures and just see if it has updated. Would you guys like to see that? Maybe we could double that up. I'm a bit concerned about tomorrow's episode being a bit short. But at the same time, I feel like it's worth looking at. Okay, it's on the 26th. That's a long way away, actually. The 26th of next month. Yeah, well, we won't be doing it because we're going to have probably Celtic and Liverpool next time out. I am aware that we have got Man City in the FA Cup, but we've done a lot of episodes as of late. And I kind of want to keep the cup final out on its own. I feel like that is of significance. We bottled a couple of cup finals. I feel like it deserves a proper build-up to it. If you've got anything that you would like to see covered in that episode, let me know, because obviously with it being a one-off, I'll probably play the game first and then talk about some stuff afterwards. So if there's anything you've wanted to see as of late, do let me know it. And then the day after that, we will have Celtic and Liverpool. So Liverpool going very, very strong in the league. They're up to 4th. A little bit behind ourselves, Chelsea and Manchester City, but a threat nevertheless. And well, with 11 games left, I feel like the ship's been steadied. I was a little bit worried after the last episode, even though we won against Tottenham, that we'd had a few slip-ups. Even going into today's episode, having slipped up against Sheffield United, it wasn't looking pretty. But 2 very, very good away games, good results. Hopefully we can carry that momentum into the EFL Cup final, and well, hopefully I see you guys tomorrow for that. If you have enjoyed today's video, do drop a like on the video. It is always, always appreciated. I will see you guys for Arsenal tomorrow. EFL Trophy, let's do this. Or EFL Cup. Under 23s in the EFL Trophy. Why are they so similar? Why are they so similar?